This is Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
It's the Morning Majlis. It's the Morning Majlis.
Good morning and welcome back onto the Morning Majlis. And yes, of course, we got a text earlier from Mabid Reza asking about where we can celebrate Oman National Day with some Omani halwa. Well, there's plenty of places in the Emirate of Sharjah that you can get it. Sharjah Co-op almost does most of the outlets do it. There's a couple of sweet shops in Mawaleh that I've come across that do Omani halwa, and also the souks next to Souq al-Jabal. Rani, that's just pointed out.
Same street as Souq al-Jabal. There's a bunch of souks over there.
Yeah.
They sell spices.
Oh, wow.
And they sell anything in the Gulf region that you need, you'll find there.
Exactly. So that's what you can do. Okay, now let's start this debate. Employees enjoy more family time as COVID-19 has now increased this vibe of remote working. About half of employees enjoyed more family time due to the shake-up of working from home. It was a poll of more than 8,000 people from 18 countries, including the United Arab Emirates, and it revealed an appetite for a more flexible approach to remain in place even after the virus has gone. Researchers revealed that 45% of workers wanted to leave behind the rigid 9-to-5 working structure for good. And about 39% said they wanted to see an end to the 5-day working week. Where do we stand with our work from home, or the notion of remote working, let's say? What do we say?
It definitely comes with lots of advantages and disadvantages. So if you're looking at the advantages, for example, you can spend more time with your family, especially if you have kids.
Yeah.
With the whole distance learning method going on. Now, you can also skip on daily traffic, which will in turn save you lots of petrol money. You can be in your pajamas, which will lead to more comfort instead of being in a suit or skirt or something. So, and in formal attire, normally it kind of adds more pressure. You know how sometimes we're like, oh, I just want to get home so I can just change into my home attire, right? Sure. Because it's so uncomfortable. So that also could contribute to being more comfortable. That means less stress, you're more calm, your stress levels are down. But there are some disadvantages, I believe. And my belief, of course, is just me. It's that human interaction that we should never skip on. I believe, my belief, life shouldn't be fully digital.
Brilliant. Well, that's true. That's true.
For me, it's I prefer having a clear separation between work and your home. When the lines are clearly drawn, when you go up to the office, you clock in for 8 hours and you head home and you're pretty much done for the day. Ideally, that's how I'd like it to be.
Yeah.
Of course, we're in a profession where we're constantly out to get news, so it doesn't always work out that way. But when we're working from home virtually, those lines are more blurred and things get a little bit muddled.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a sense of flexibility. You might even be more productive. But I think in the long run, for our mental health, at least for me personally, to have a clear line drawn in, an office where I could go, be around my colleagues, get in work mode, and then pretty much slip out of that once I'm done for the day is what I prefer the most. So
plus you feel like you're exerting an effort.
Yeah,
you're actually doing something.
Yeah, you're locked in when you're at work, and then you have time for other things the rest of the day. But again, I mean, in our profession, we don't have that, but ideally that's how it would be for me. Yeah. So I'm sort of like not too comfortable with the idea of working home around the clock, having Zoom open for any call whenever. Those are not things I'm too good about. I
agree with you.
Well, there's more than a third of workers from countries including the UAE, UK, USA and Germany said they were ready to see the back of fixed office desk routines. Employees from a number of small and medium-sized enterprises said the pandemic had offered them a better work-life balance due to remote working. Some 41% said not having to go to an office or work premises 5 days a week allowed them to save more money. If you have to consider the cost, because a lot of people, when they go to places such as the massive free zones in Dubai, for example, a lot of people do commute there.
Petrol, salik,
parking,
food.
Parking is your biggest cost.
You have to go on lunch every day.
Lunch days,
true,
Parking. Parking is the biggest cost.
Yeah.
It's such an unnecessary cost to you. You'd think it, because what are you paying for? Your car being parked there. For stationery.
More mileage on your car.
More mileage in your car as well. So that's another thing to consider. I personally would say a hybrid working model would be amazing. I think where you can get a chance to work remotely and need to be in an office space for that good old weekly meetings, understandable, get your social element out the way, and then you're off. And if you're working independently, if your work is solely based on you as an individual to do a certain task, if you work remotely, that's fine. I think gone should be the mindset of senior HR officers or anyone who says, if you're not working in front of me, you're not working. That notion needs to change, because that is the end. That is gone. That is the yesterdays, really, yesteryears, where you would want to survey and look at your staff. A recent survey conducted with Zoom, and we're also hoping to speak to at some point, said that 31% of Emirati employees in the UAE expect to work from home permanently.
Wow.
After the pandemic subsides.
I'm not surprised.
Just 27% of respondents said they wanted to go back to the office full-time, and nearly 38% said they wanted to adopt a blended model of work that will see them working from both homes and offices. Great news. I think that's a good option. For people like us, we need the interaction. We need to be in the studio.
See, that's the thing. That's when I said... that's why I said human interaction is so important, and not going fully digital is, I believe, it's not healthy, especially in many work environments, because you need and you depend on building relationships with people. How will you do that if you're sitting behind a screen at home permanently? That's why it's good to have a hybrid method. It's very healthy, but being 100%
from home will be...
I don't think it's going to be good for all kinds of jobs, I believe, not just for our type of job. I believe for all types of jobs, it's very important to build relations, meet new people, and progress more.
Well, let us know by joining the text lines at 4215. Which is it you prefer? Working from home or working in an office, or a blend of both perhaps? Let us know your thoughts on this. I'm sure all of us have had to work from home at some point or another during the pandemic, so let us know how that has impacted you.
Yeah, let us know on the text lines 4215. And there's a popular saying that people are never happy with whatever situation they get. They just have something to complain about.
We always do.
When we first started when we had the pandemic and we started working
complaining.
From home, everyone was complaining. Oh, I can't do this, I can't concentrate and stuff. And when that right is taken away nowadays,
we complain again,
saying no, we want to go back. It's so good. I just came across this little thing that on LinkedIn. That's sometimes where I get most of my little content from nowadays.
That's where you're inspired.
And I had to Insta share it, Insta story share it, or share it on the Insta stories, was because they said it was a tweet by a person called Katie Leeson, and she says, "We need to stop glamorizing overworking. The absence of sleep, good diet, exercise, relaxation, and time with friends and family isn't something to be applauded. Too many people wear their burnout as a badge of honor, and it needs to change." Do you agree with that, or do you think that burning out is something that keeps you motivated, keeps you going? People are different, so let us know the text line 4215 on which side of the coin you stand, or which side of the shore or the pond do you believe and stand at. So stay tuned to Pulse 95. We appreciate lots of texts coming in this morning, and we'll be right back after a bit of a short break.
Yes,
and we'll focus a little bit more on the guidelines that have been issued by the government for the celebration. Stay tuned. This is the Morning Majlis.
This is Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
It's the Morning Majlis. It's the Morning Majlis.
It's the Morning Majlis. Welcome back onto Pulse 95, and we are talking about Oman's National Day. The United Arab Emirates will be celebrating the 50th National Day of Oman, highlighting the strong ties and strategic partnership between the two countries. The celebrations will take place under the slogan, "Oman is from us, and we are among them," and will witness a range of events showing celebrations of the Golden Jubilee and the 50th anniversary of the country's Renaissance on the 18th of November. The events will include lighting key landmarks across the country with the Omani flag, and we're also seeing festive celebrations at the country's land ports. Omani visitors coming to the country will also be greeted with flowers and souvenirs.
Yes, absolutely. It's going to be a festive atmosphere here as Oman celebrates its National Day. with colorful lightning all around, adorning the entire length of the Sultan Qaboos highway in the country, and multiple illuminations as well in front of major destinations in the country as well. It's an interesting time for Oman, marking its 50th National Day anniversary, as Omani citizens continue to expect more achievements to be made under the leadership of His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq, who vowed to essentially uplift the nation and enhance its pace of progress. Country's been going through a lot of change over the past few months and is set to mark a new era.
It is going to be marking a new era, and looking at the plans so far, it is going to be lots of multiple venues that will be lit up with the Omani flag, and we do know that there's grand celebrations that have been announced, especially to celebrate the booming ties. Key landmarks will be lit up, so we have plans of the dancing fountain of the Palm that is going to be playing some tunes with the Omani theme songs. We've also got the key landmarks such as the Burj Khalifa, as well as buildings in Abu Dhabi that will be lit up with the Omani flag. We are looking at the relations, as state news agency WAM has said. The cultural and social relations between the two countries are intertwined and deep, reaching the level of family relations and sharing of customs, costumes, and the arts. And that is one thing that we're very, very proud of. Anything about Oman that we quite know? Do we like?
Have you been to Oman?
Oh, multiple times.
Really?
It is my favorite holiday destination.
No way.
One of it. Because it's so easy to get to. You just drive down.
Absolutely.
You just drive down Maliha Road, and then you can go towards Kalba and then drive into Oman, no problems.
Yeah.
And it is very easy to get to. You can either use the Wajaja border crossing, Kalba border crossing, Hafith border crossing as well, back in the days when you didn't need a COVID-19 test to get into Al Ain. You can look at Oman from Jabal Hafith, and right next to it is Buraimi, as a small town that you can see. And from Al Ain, you can actually see Oman.
Yeah.
There's a fence, and you can see Omani taxis driving around. And you're thinking, whoa, hello. And it is fun. And look, Oman is such a close-by country. It's got beautiful scenic mountains. And my favorite spot in Oman, Jabal al-Shams. Beautiful spot.
You've been to both Muscat and Salalah?
I've been to Salalah, and it's a long flight. It's a flight is about an hour and a half, and of course the drive is very, very long.
That's long.
Wouldn't advise to do that.
Is it like 9 or 11 hours?
Over 11 hours.
Yeah, 11
if you drive straight. And it's going to be fun. It's fun if you do it for a longer period. Let's say if you're staying there for a week. If you're driving down, okay, that's fine. Multiple stops are needed because it is a very, very long drive.
I drove to Muscat. That's as far as I went.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
It is a beautiful spot.
I remember some attractions that I really loved. Sultan Qaboos Grand Mosque.
Yep.
Been to Beit al-Zubayr Museum as well. A lot of museums. They have a lot of museums over there. The National Museum of Oman. Souq Matrah. Very, very famous over there. Matrah Corniche also. Qurum Beach and Fort as well, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. They have beautiful destinations and they have really good food.
They do have amazing food, and they have buildings that can't go above 2 floors. And so all the buildings the same level.
I noticed.
And that's just amazing. You've got a big mountain in Muscat.
And they're one of the nicest people you'll ever meet.
Definitely.
So calm, so nice, so peaceful. They're so helpful as well.
It reminds you of United Arab Emirates back in the days of the 70s and 80s, where you relax, there's no issues, it's chilled, not too many people, not too many expectations, materialistic life. We've got a couple of destinations to relax. You can relax and have fun, and it's a very, very beautiful spot. It's a little bit of a retreat. It's a gorgeous country, but when you do go over there, it's a bit of a retreat.
So let's look into the Omani cuisine. Do you have any favorite food?
I was a big fan of Omani halwa. It is very rich. You can get it in lots of places in the United Arab Emirates, especially in Sharjah. And Omani food, I would say, very similar to Gulf food.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
It is, yeah.
very Mandi style.
I like their haris.
Majbous, haris, like
haris
that.
is good.
Like
yes, exactly. So let us know how you are celebrating Omani National Day. If you've got any friends in Oman, if you've got a particular destination in Oman that you love and would like to highlight. Sadly, we can't travel there yet, so that's what the situation is. Only airports are open. Land borders still remain closed to go into Oman, but there's going to be Omanis that will be allowed to come into the United Arab Emirates.
So you know how to say Oman is from us and we are among them in Arabic? Before we conclude the segment.
That's going to be challenging, I think.
Oman معنا ونحن
Oman minna wa nahnu minhum.
Wow, that's heavy. I love it.
Very good, very powerful words. Well, congratulations
to Oman.
Yep, exactly. We'll be right back after the news headlines and let us know how you will be celebrating the occasion. When we do come back from the break, we will shift our focus towards finding that mouthwash that can kill COVID-19. Well, what are we talking about? Well, stay tuned to Pulse 95.
This is Pulse 95. Pulse 95. It's the Morning Majlis. It's the Morning Majlis.
Welcome back onto the Morning Majlis. We're talking students. We're talking all things graduation and what to expect and what type of role you can end up with. And now the employment experts have urged graduates in the United Arab Emirates not to waste their time during the pandemic. And this is one of the reasons why we talked about Badri E-Academy. I go through a number of Facebook posts, people saying, oh, what can I do to make most of my time? I'm not getting work and I have some extra time on my plate. Well, places like Badri E-Academy is the place to be. Despite one of the toughest job markets in generations, youngsters have handled the uncertainty very crucial, and they believe it is very crucial to know what they've done now for a job interview, because it's very likely job interviewers will be asking now to a lot of people saying, how did you make the most of your time during the pandemic? What did you get up to? Did you find work? It's a contrast to expat students and Emirati students because of a recent survey as well, in terms of what they would like to get paid, and this was a expectations survey done by KPMG.
Yeah. It follows a recent survey, as you said, Abdul Karim, that revealed half of Emirati students expect a starting salary of 15,000 dirhams to 30,000 dirhams a month, while 58% of expat students expect a starting pay or salary of 2,500 dirhams to 7,500 dirhams per month. And this tallies with what US-based consultants were seeing with graduates drawing salaries around 7,500 to about 8,000 dirhams a month. So according to a partner at global professional services firm KPMG, they're saying that the students' expectations are spot on. For an expat, earning around 10,000 dirhams for a first job is realistic, while for an Emirati, a starting salary of 15,000 dirhams is expected. If they go for an internship, their salaries are below 5,000.
Yeah, and it's interesting here, the question of what you've done during COVID-19, during lockdown. How did you make the most of your time as a question that job interviewers ask you? And according to a senior consultant at a global consulting firm, they said, we don't want to hear about someone who drifted. We'd be looking for the mature ones who have a sense of purpose, people who have kept themselves busy in a meaningful way. So when you get that job interview and the employer asks you about how you coped in the pandemic, you should have a story to tell. And they cite examples such as helping paint one's grandparents' house, or learning a new skill, or working on some side creative projects as a meaningful way of spending your time.
Yep, exactly. And these little side projects, maybe making vlogs, that could be a good idea. Maybe also trying one of these e-academies for sure. And, a lot of recruiters have been speaking in international and local media saying, for one person who was quoted on the National saying, Sally Jeffrey, she is from PwC. She said, we don't want to hear about someone who drifted. We would be looking for people who kept themselves busy in a meaningful way.
Have experience.
Yeah, exactly. And that's very important. Internships are great. Yes, it is difficult to find internships given the fact that a lot of these startups and SMEs have not been hiring. Understandable. But getting something done is so important to have it on your CV. Yes, the pay might be less. Yes, the working hours might be longer. But as long as you can fill your gap, as long as you can keep yourself busy, time does go by very quickly. So it's very important.
Yeah, and the emphasis is on that.
Exactly.
Keeping yourself busy, because employers said they prefer to hire people who had more experience, like for example volunteering or working for a charity where they could show they help the community as well. That's a big plus as well for employers when they're looking at potential candidates. Also experts, they're encouraging graduates to ignore job titles and look at responsibilities within the role. That's another big plus.
Emaar has removed job titles, so there is no such thing as job title in that big company as well. So yeah, making yourself useful.
Making yourself useful indeed. And when you have free time, it's always an opportunity to add a new skill to your repertoire. So it doesn't matter what you are or what background you're from. You could always, for instance, learn how to computer program or learn about artificial intelligence. Pick up on something new. Maybe instead of binge watching Netflix or playing video games, just doing something to expand your skill set and having that be part of your resume and something to mention during your job interview as well. You might feel like there are no jobs out there, but one of the reasons that you might feel that way is maybe you're not as expanded as you could be. And one way of doing that is taking full advantage of that free time.
For sure. Well, stay with us on the Morning Majlis. One particular aspect I could recommend is do learn how to cook, because that's so important. Very, very important. At times when you're working from home, you're thinking, oh, what do I make? Or you end up ordering food, and then it gets a little bit too pricey. Well, stay tuned to Pulse 95. We'll be right back. And up next, we'll be talking a little bit more about the world of sports and how to keep yourself fit and motivated. Stay tuned to Pulse 95.
If you liked this episode of The Morning Majlis, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.
Pulse